But it feels like something that has given him the opportunity to say, I'm still working on this and here's a real thought through plan. And then to be able to blame Hamas if they come back and say, look, this is unacceptable.
Well, exactly. So that is going to be right at the heart of the story. So if Hamas rejects this, very, very quickly, the narrative coming out of Israel, the Israeli government certainly, will be, well, we offered them peace and they rejected it. So now we can continue doing whatever we're doing in Gaza, and it's Hamas's fault because we offered them a peace deal. And nobody will read the small print. Nobody will be interested in discussions about whether what they offered was reasonable. Nobody will be interested in the point that it wasn't actually negotiated with Hamas at all. The second question, though, which I think you pointed to when you talked about Netanyahu rejecting a two-state solution, is, let's say, in a sense, that's actually quite convenient for Netanyahu, Hamas rejecting this, because it might help him with his own coalition partners who are a bit iffy about some of this stuff.
Just on that race, Bezalel Smotrich, who's one of the two big hardliners, he and Ben Gvir, who really just don't want any truck with any talk of even being nice to the Palestinians, let alone giving them a state. And he has called this deal a tragedy of leadership that lacks true vision. So that's kind of where that side of the politics is coming at Netanyahu. And meanwhile, on the other side, of course, he's getting it from people trying to push him towards accepting the deal.
So let me just develop this. So there's meant to be 72 hours for Hamas to sign up. And if Netanyahu doesn't want them to sign up, all he has to do is keep making statements in that 72-hour period, saying things like there's never going to be a two-state solution, leaning into an Israeli interpretation of this document, making it seem more and more pro-Israeli and unattractive. And the result will be that he can force Hamas to reject it and then say, well, Hamas rejected it and we can continue. So one question will be, does Netanyahu want this to happen or not? Because if he doesn't want it to happen, there's an enormous amount that he can do to make it less likely that Hamas will sign up to it in terms of what he says